Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. We are just going to go over patch notes 1.3.5 for the cycle that have dropped today as of recording, 6th of July. So before we get right into it. Hey there prospectors, our weekly update is arriving soon and as every week, we have some patch notes to share with you all. By the way, remember last week when we mentioned an upcoming patch focusing more on weapons and balance? Yep, that's the one. Cool. So, I wasn't streaming last week, but they did some changes last week, but they mentioned that like the next patch would be quite heavy on like balancing the weapons because there's a big problem with white tier weapons being just the better option, more cost effective, where you get basically the same amount of firepower as you do like getting a white trench gun in comparison to like the Maelstrom, for example. So this is what this one's going to be about. So let's see what they've done. So changes, SMGs, reduce horizontal recoil, reduce ADS movement speed reduction from minus 30% to minus 25%. Shotguns, B9 trench gun, reduce base damage from 80 to 64, 10 damage per pellet to 8 damage per pellet. The PKR Maelstrom, reduce recoil, increase spread to be more in line with that of other shotguns, hip fire spread 3.5 to 5, ADS spread 3 to 4.5, weapon spread increase speed 0.5 to 0.65, reduce camera shaking intensity. And lastly, for the shotguns, the Bulldog, increase refire time from 0.5 to 0.6 seconds, and increase spread to be more in line with the spread of other shotguns. And with the Manticore, they have increased the recoil. Grenades, big one for me. Added a 1.8 second delay between grenade throws, preventing players from just unleashing a barrage of explosives and hope to hit the jackpot. Power progression. Increased penetration of all epic weapons from 26 to 27. Increased penetration of all exotic weapons from 28 to 29. Increased penetration of all legendary weapons from 31 to 32. Increased armor of the epic shield and epic helmet from 26 to 27. Increase the armor of the exotic shields, exotic helmets, and NV helmet from 28 to 29. Auto loader crafting. The hydraulic pistons in the recipe are replaced by ball bearings to overall reduce the number of hydraulic pistons required to craft an auto loader. Movement and climbing. Additional tweaks to vaulting and climbing. Max walkable floor angle from 45 to 50. Max step height from 45 to 50. Climbing cooldown from 1 second to half a second. Max wall distance from 90 to 100. The max distance allowed from wall to player in order to achieve a ledge climb. We'll come back to that. Very happy with that. That big part of some of my problems traversing. We implemented the first iteration of the "You Are Banned" screen to prevent further confusion and some login issues. Bug fixes. We checked with our official tailor, prospects who bought the Paladin set and ended up with 2 chests and no gloves will now have access to what they purchased after the maintenance. Daily actions for Fortuna Pass are now resetting properly without having to check the daily action screen before deploying. Fixed an exploit with gear salvage insurance when playing in squads. MISC additional tweaks are internal anti-cheat measures. We are now tracking and having ban automation for additional stats. And the known issues, Biker Queen image shows black hair even though she has white. Players on Epic Games store who own the Ronin, and the missing pieces will get all of them back. Fortuna favors the bold. So quite a bit in that in these patch notes here. So SMGs, much needed. Like they needed to be addressed at some point. They just not worth using it at the moment. So reduce horizontal recoil. That should increase the ability to use them a bit more range. So you can hold it steady a bit more, keep it on target. And ADS movement speed reduction So you're going to be, so that's a quicker movement, aiming down sights by 5%. So that's quite a good increase. I'm looking forward to seeing if that sort of bridge the gap between the shotgun and the AR. I think that's the key thing right there. As we're talking about shotguns, some good old nerfs in this one. So the trench gun before this patch was the most cost-effective weapon. Like, damage to price was ridiculous. So it's 8 damage per pellet, and the base damage from 80 to 64. So we'll see if that's still worth the sort of run and gun style that some people are dropping in with. The Maelstrom. So I tried out the Maelstrom because when I first started the game, I was like, oh my word, like, need this gun, better shotgun. Yes, please. I want to kill Jeffs with it and all that stuff. And it just wasn't good. And it's now worse. Like, I don't know how they looked at the Maelstrom and said that and the trench gun are one in the same. I just don't understand that. So with the increased spread, like, I guess if you want all shotguns to like have a similar pattern, but the hit fire, the ADS, the weapon spreads in general. So the only good thing was recoil. That had a kick to it. The Maelstrom had a kick. So it's good that they reduced that. But the rest of them, it's tough. It already felt like it had a wide spread to begin with. So we'll see if that's actually is just a nerf on top of a dead gun. I know the developers like to do incremental changes, which I'm all on board for. Like, you don't have to try and go full hog, get something reduced ridiculously quick first time. See how it goes, find the middle spot before going too far. But they're going to have to, increase the power of a Maelstrom by quite a dramatic amount next time, just because it's already on such a low tier. Like, this is just if we're doing tier rankings for weapons, this is F, like, straight up, like, in the bin, getting in the bin. With the Bulldog, increased refire times from 0.5 to 0.6. So basically the time between the click of your mouse button when you can fire both the barrels there. 0.1 of a second, like, yeah. I don't think, some people are saying, oh, will this like drop the Bulldog off? I don't think that'll make as much of a difference as people are saying. So I reckon Bulldog will still be one of the strongest guns you can run with, and the increased spread as with all the shotguns. So Bulldog definitely like reduced a little bit, but I think that's still, I mean, we'll see. I might be wrong, but I think that's still high tier. Manticore, increased recoil, much needed. Like, you could basically just beam someone. Like, it didn't move, so needs of increased recoil. I still think it'll be like the choice, but I think the white AR will be a bit more favorably looked upon, I would say. Now we get to grenades. So as I said earlier, I've seen some people say don't like the update for grenades. Like, it just, like, if you're in team of 3, a 1.8 second delay doesn't make a difference. You need, like, the way it does damage needs reworking rather than just this. But we'll see how, like, especially for solo runners, maybe a bit more difficult to fight groups, but I'm sure they'll see how this affects it, and basically, like, they're updating the game regularly. The grenades will flatten out sooner rather than later, I'd say, but only a 1.8 seconds. So I do see what they mean from like harming the solo player run. So suddenly solo players can't spam grenades and just wipe out a group of 3, because it's still quite difficult as a solo player, but definitely doable. But I don't think it'll be that bad at all. But good. At least at least it's not artillery anymore. Power progression, this is all good. So they basically just wanted to like make getting better gear worth it. Like, that's the whole core of a game, as it is anyway. So this is a needed change. Increase penetration and armor of epic exotic legendary helmets, armor and weapons. I mean, helmet is armor, but you know what I mean. Yeah, needed. We shall see how that goes, but definitely need to make the progression of armor and higher tier stuff more worth it. More worth it to bring in, like risk it on if it provides you with such an advantage on the floor, on the ground in Fortuna. Yeah, it's good changes there, and I can see them potentially doing even more later. Also, loads of crafting. I haven't personally noticed it, but I've heard people say this is a good one. Hydraulic pistons I have noticed everywhere, and they are needed in a lot of sort of crafting. So maybe changing the reliance and spreading the field out in terms of like materials needed is a good thing, especially like ball bearings. I can't think of a single thing that needs it, and if there is something, it's like one item. So stuff like ball bearings, like in general for crafting, I think it's good that it should be spread out more. So like that one. Movement, I really like this. Like I was playing with my brother first time he played it, and yeah, the jumps and the catchment of the ledges and stuff just didn't feel right. So hopefully all these like max heights and wall distance improves that, because it just felt like it has to be far too close to the wall. So yeah, we'll see today how that changes it. Implemented first iteration of UR ban screen. Cool, good stuff. We checked it with our official tailor. I do like the additional text they do with some of these updates. It's nice. It's a nice touch. The Paladin set, that's good. Get your stuff. Don't really need to say too much about that one. And with Fortuna Pass, and didn't even know about this gear salvage insurance exploit. So good. It should be fixed even if I didn't know it was a thing. Additional tweaks to internal anti-cheat measures. That's good. Less reliance on the Discord to point out cheaters for better. It's already a lot better than when it first came out, and now to get even more sort of stats to pop up potential cheaters gets the thumbs up from me. Always good to see that progression. Known issues, they'll fix those. This one's the Bikie Queens from last week as well, so that's still a thing, but nothing too much. So that's 1.3.5. That's the patch update. So hope you like this video, just going through the update with me. Don't forget to go and check out my stream. It's linked in the description below. We'll be playing the cycle every Tuesday and Wednesday from 7:30 BST at the moment, and most Saturdays as well. So yeah, come check us out, and I shall look forward to seeing you in chat next time. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube as well to get more updates, more cycle videos and shorts as well. So see you next time.